the anime doesn't like the fight scene doesn't last that long. No, it was about the good 3 minutes of him just spazzing. And I was just like, yo, this is epic. And like, if you read the manga, it only gets better. It only gets darker. Yo, they're not afraid to fuck people up. They're not afraid to kill people either. So it's like how people were calling Black Clover Disney Clover. This is not Disney. Like they'll cut your head off. They'll rip they'll do all types of stuff. So if you like Black Clover and you want like a new feel with like some interesting characters, I definitely say this is for you.
I agree.
But speaking of underrated, or now it's starting to become popularly rated. I think I nominated for anime of the season Wistoria. It's getting more and more popular. It's getting bigger and bigger.
Somebody at my job was talking about it. I was like, y'all don't even watch anime.
Yeah,
what are y'all talking about?
Shits and Gigs, which is one of the biggest podcasts
Anime
in the world.
motion.
I think they're like number 2 or number 3 on Spotify. They were just talking about it, and yeah, it's kind of like Mashle and Black Clover. It's the same concept. Everybody got magic, but the main character, yada yada. So at first, like when you're watching, just like, oh, this is just like an off-brand Black Clover, off-brand Mashle, and then like, I don't know, because it's like the main character, he kind of gave me Deku vibes in the beginning, but then it's just like, oh, this dude's a dog. This dude's a dog. He's really about that. Like he's really about that action. They just had a episode last week that got a 9.4 rating on IMDb. So like that's up there with JJK and Demon Slayer episodes. Like some of their best episodes are around that level too. And yeah, this is like one of those like soft characters where it's like at the same time, I'm rooting for this man. Like that fight, there was like this one fight last week where I was like almost standing up on my seat. I was like, yo, fuck that nigga up. I was like, go off. And the fight and the animation was crazy. The choreography was crazy. And I like usually when it's like that type of choreography, the anime doesn't like the fight scene doesn't last that long. No, it was about the good 3 minutes of him just spazzing. And I was just like, yo, this is epic. And like if you read the manga, it only gets better. It only gets darker. Yo, they're not afraid to fuck people up. They're not afraid to kill people either. So it's like how people were calling Black Clover Disney Clover. This is not Disney. Like they'll cut your head off. They'll rip they'll do all types of stuff. So if you like Black Clover and you want like a new feel with like some interesting characters, I definitely say this is for you.
I agree. I'm caught up on the manga, and my biggest problem with the story itself.
Real quick, random. I'm gonna let you go, but it's always interesting which manga you decide to catch up with, and which you.
No, this is before. This is no. This is before Naruto. This is before Naruto. Do not throw this on me. This is before Naruto.
Yeah,
I swear. I swear.
Straight into it.
This is before Naruto. Okay, I haven't seen a translation in a little while. Okay, but the one problem I have with the story is that it gives you a lot of your princesses and other castle vibes. If you get what I mean. For everybody who's watched the story, who knows about the story, you should understand what I mean. Like,
I get it.
Yeah. So, but other than that,
at the same time, though, I kind of mess with it because it's not like she is like inaccessible to him right now, but at the same time. To make it short for people, the main thing is like this guy, he's in love. This guy is like he grew up with this girl, and she ended up being one of the top mages in the world. So she lives up on top of this tower, in charge of like the world, basically with the rest of the people. And he has no powers, so of course he's still in school trying to figure out, oh, how do I become one of the top mages in the world? But she's like the genius of the millennia, so she's just doing all types of stuff and he's just struggling, but at the same time he's really him and he's really starting to make waves. And like the thing is, she's been watching him this whole time because she has all these crazy powers, so she's been rooting for him. They're both in love with each other, so it's not like, oh, does he love me, no, they both established early on, we love each other, but we're eventually gonna be together, but we got work to do, we got shit to do. So
so it's a glorified romance.
No, I will say this.
I wouldn't say that.
It's not a glorified romance. Like, even like I will say this, at one point the girl and the guy get a really, really beautiful moment together, right? And then I'm gonna say this, she has one of the craziest, she probably has right now what I've probably, in my opinion, is the best fight in the story. when she shows you what she can do, you're like, oh shit,
she's her.
I was like, oh
she's
shit,
like the
so
Gojo her verse, low key.
Like she's nasty as hell. So there's a lot. The side characters could be better. But I think the general premise of the story and how they made the main character really works well. And I'm always like, I understand y'all want to talk mess because he doesn't know magic, but my boy just getting the work done. I don't care how he does it. He's still getting the work done. Why are we still talking mess about him? Maybe that's why I've always hated that about manga that do that.
And Riddell, I think what you would like about this is like, yes, like the romance is like established, like because they grew up together as kids, and now but then like she's been gone. They haven't seen each other in years, so like, and they don't communicate, like they don't talk to each other. So it's like that's like in the back of his mind, like, oh, my goal is eventually to get to her, but he's always focused on the task at hand. And like I don't think like he doesn't like overly talk about her. You still see him like he kind of does flirt with like everybody else, and like he's like just a really chill guy, but he also has like some dark stuff about him too, because after she left him, he got depressed. So he went through it himself. So it's like he's focused on the task at hand, like, oh, I gotta deal with this, I gotta deal with this dungeon, I gotta deal with this monster, yada yada yada. And then when people ask him, when people try to get to know him, then he's like, oh, my goal is to get to the girl that I love. My girl is to like to support her, be her sword, yada yada yada. But I gotta whoop your ass. Like, let's get this business done. So he's really, I don't know. I usually don't like soft characters or like super nice characters, but I really mess with this guy. I really mess with him. He's really dope.
Fair enough. I plan to watch it eventually. I do want to ask a question for y'all too, since you did watch it. But before you do that, Santo, I did ask you a couple questions. Can you tell us what the relationship between Wistoria and Black Clover is from what you found?
From what I was looking at, the person that wrote Wistoria is actually the chief director of Black Clover.
Oh, man, also they're also the person that made.
I respect it.
They're also the person that made. Is it okay to pick up girls in a dungeon?
I hate that anime. Okay,
but this one is a different. It's like a different tone. It's a different tone.
His IMDb is crazy. Key animator in Free Rin. Action director in Chainsaw Man.
Oh, he's good.
One Punch Man. He's a key animator in a couple episodes.
So
this guy,
I respect it because similar to me, because I'm writing my lot novel that's heavily inspired by stuff I've seen. He probably was super inspired and was like, man, I'm about to make something that's better than Black Clover. So my question is for you two, will Wistoria be better than Black Clover? You saw how I transitioned? That was
I'm right now, I'm going to say no because he has a lot of work to do with the side characters, in my opinion, to even compare to Black Clover's side characters. Like, I haven't seen anybody get Magna. Magna by himself clears the majority of the side characters in. And he just has to get there. Now, one thing I'm worried about Lani is eventually we know who the main couple is, but I think eventually they're just going to start throwing some harem aspects in there. And I'm not worried about it. We already know who the main person is.
So, to answer your first question, will it be Black Clover? I will say right now it isn't, but also at the same time, it's only 40 chapters in. It's only 40 chapters in. Yeah. So it's kind of still in the early stages. And I do see the angles for some of these characters and the avenues where it's like they can be bigger than what they are now. Not like they have like a mini, like I said, I think I call him like an off-brand Bakugo, where it's like he was like a genius, but he's low-key jealous in terms of personality, random, not like. So
I don't like Bakugo, but throw some respect on Bakugo's name.
That dollar value.
I'm trying to describe personality.
No, I see where he's. But I'm like, if you're gonna do this, commit.
Yeah, but again, we're only 40 chapters in, my guy.
But anyway, 40 chapters in clears this dude. What are we talking about?
I agree, but it's like I'm talking about like the angle of personality. So it's like he's like a genius, but he's also like low key jealous, or like he has a lot of issues and angers towards the main character, even though he considers him weaker than him. He feels like the main character doesn't acknowledge him. So it's like that type of riff. There's like elves, and like elves, they feel superior to everybody and stuff like that. And like one of the main elves, he has a very interesting past. There's like a lot of, because at this stage, like because they're in like year 6 of the Magic Academy, and if you're not geniuses usually graduate early, and 6 is like the last year. So low key, all these guys, even though they act like they're all superior, they're kind of like the leftovers. But they all have a bunch of potential, and so at the end, we're gonna see like all that potential get flushed out. And yeah, so I don't know if it'll be better than Black Clover in totality, but in terms of the anime, I think right now at this point it's more enjoyable compared to the early stages of Black Clover. Definitely in terms of animation, definitely in terms of what's going on in the story, the first arcs and stuff like that, because they get right into the tournament arcs like right away. Like episode 4, they're already in a tournament fighting each other. So it has potential to be up there. I'm not gonna say
like Black
I'm not gonna
Clover
say
to
it yet,
me.
but it has potential.
The elf character is my favorite. I do agree. His backstory, he has the potential to be the best side character in my opinion. And they don't obviously Black Clover in the beginning had a lot of filler arcs, too many mixers, in my opinion. But
I kind of like the filler stuff.
You think so?
I think so. A little bit too much. But I mean, you got to do what you got to do, right? But because that's not the manga's fault, right? But I'm very curious. Anime wise, I think it will be better. I think the animation itself puts it in a place where, I mean, Kai was trying to make a funny statement in the comments about it not getting the Black Clover not getting the same animation treatment, but it's not even a contest. Now, in terms of the story, what they do in the future, obviously we'll see in the manga before we get to the anime, but I'm enjoying myself a lot more watching this than even trying to go back to the first few episodes of Black Clover.
And I will say that I enjoy Black Clover is one of my favorite new gen stories, but like in terms of like watching it, I definitely enjoy watching this more. It's like almost like Demon say, like the story might not be as good as Black Clover's story yet, but in terms of enjoyability, yeah, it kind of not close.
I just couldn't get past Asta's voice. Like, my
it was a hard barrier.
It was hard. But once you do, like I said, I had high hopes for Black Clover. It was rising. Every arc kept on getting better and better. Elf arc was so good. And the time skip happened. I still think Spade Kingdom was good. Spade Invasion was good. Then this final arc happened, and I'm like,
but let's be fair to it, Riddell. I still think that there's a heavy bar to be set when 80% of your product was really, really good.
Fair.
But why is it always on the ending though? Always on the ending.
It's 100% the editors, because there's a reason why he left Jump. He left Jump and then came back. That's not.
Didn't he have a kid too? He
just had a kid and he was dealing with health problems.
Yeah.
And he also said like he didn't feel like he was being a good like husband and father and stuff like that. You know, Kishimoto, take notes. But
the priorities changed. The priorities changed. Yeah. So like, I think that also raises an interesting question. Like for these very long stories, like you create some good stuff throughout, but right when it hits the end, that's when your juices start like disappearing. That's when your passion starts disappearing. So maybe not only is it like an editor wants you to do it a certain way, and usually every single mangaka says something is wrong with their health. To be fair, they get word crazy in Japan.
They do.
But also, it could just be that they're writing way too long and they're just losing their passion by the end. So
could they not?
Maybe shorter manga is really the wave.
But yeah, I don't think that deadlines and all of that stuff plays in the factor of it being.
I feel like
I'm including all of it. I'm including all of it.
Okay.
I would say, could they not? Black Clover at the time, right before the final arc is established, they, like Ty said it last week, they let these guys, if Oda wants, obviously Oda is a different level, but if Oda wants to take a break, let him have if Kishimoto's like, yo, can I just get like a couple months? Let me just go away, be a father for a little bit, and then come back and write this final arc the way you guys want to. Could he have not have done that and try to do this thing where he leaves? Now he's releasing a chapter every few months. It's definitely not as good. And could they have not have done that? And the Black Clover is established, one of the best new gens you've ever had.
But it never really sold crazy. It's not like My Hero when it came to like cells and everything.
1 second, just so like the chat can understand. This is Oda's sleep schedule.
Oh, my bad.
Just put a face.
Riddell.
My fault.
Is there a way to zoom in on this?
This is Oda's sleep schedule. Riddell and Durag. I'm like,
Yeah.
damn, bro.
From I guess midnight to 5 a.m. is storyboard on Monday. He sleeps for 2 hours. Breakfast at 8 a.m., 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. storyboard, 2-hour editor meeting, then 3 hours of storyboard.
Can you zoom in on that just a little bit if you can or not? Because that's ridiculous.
Control plus.
Control plus on your thing.
Control plus. Where the fuck is the plus at?
It should be where your number. There you go.
There we go.
Okay.
There we go. Yeah. Okay, Boomer.
Okay. And then, well, I guess it's like storyboard from what? 10 to 5 a.m. again, then a 2-hour, then he finally sleeps for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 hours, lunch.
Lani, can I cut you off for 1 second?
Yeah.
Okay.
Fellas, let's be honest here, okay? You see that Monday where he only get 2 hours of sleep and he's doing all of that storyboard for the rest of those hours?
Yeah.
How productive do you actually think that this duration of work actually is? Because I feel like when you're focused and you're honed in on something for that long, eventually your efficiency starts, it has to drop at some point where the slightest little, it could be a bug on the wall. You don't even want to kill it. You're just, this will take my mind off this thing. There's no way you're getting your maximum level of production doing it for this many hours.
How many assistants does Oda have?
A few, but at the same time, I think this is like his revised sleep schedule. This is like his newer one. The other one had less sleep on it.
I'm just gonna say, for somebody that suffers from insomnia right here, this looks like a lot of sleep.
And he's been doing this since the 90s. Well, I'm saying this is like, I think this is the new one. Wait, this is Shibasha Shuro. That's not Oda's. Hold on.
Because I can give you Kentaro's. Kentaro was like, he basically, if he woke up at 8, he basically had about 3 hours of sleep every day with what he did. I can look it up on this thing, but his sleep schedule was like, your body doesn't have enough time to like recover. You're not even giving your body enough time to recover. That was Kentaro's thing.
He also sleeps at weird times. I'm not gonna lie. Like his whole circadian rhythm is completely out of whack because he be sleeping in like the 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, in like the noon times, like when the sun is up. All right.
And the thing is, he has like a wife and stuff. Like,
yeah, they don't see him. That's it.
They see him on Saturday on free time.
Yeah, you see free time. 3 hours. You see 3 hours a week.
3 hours a week. They're penciled.
Hey man, shout out Oda, man. He created a masterpiece just for us.
Because here's Kentaro Miura's schedule just for a minute, and this is what he wrote himself. As for my usual daily schedule, I get up around 7 to 8 p.m. I start work around 8:30 to 9 p.m. I work, then eat, and then I work again until my next break, which is scheduled at 3 a.m. when I take one meal until about 3:30 a.m. I watch a video that I recorded on that day while eating, and then I get back to work. After that, I have my last meal at 6 a.m. and work until about 12 p.m. until 1, 2, or 3 o'clock is the latest, and then until about 11:30 p.m. at the earliest. Basically, he falls asleep at midnight or at noon to 3 p.m. That's his that's when he decides to go to sleep.
3 a.m. is insane.
Let's be honest with ourselves. Who works harder, Oda or LeBron James?
Oh, LeBron.
Cap.
Here we go again.
Cap. LeBron sees his family all the time. Cap. Anyway,
That was crazy.